Hey everyone, what I'd like to do today is respond to a comment. So, a few days ago, I published my review of the Devoom Pixoo 64, which is the pixel art display you see behind me. And I received a comment from Flood of Sins who said, I think a lot of companies are making products merely to try to get access to everyone's passwords. So, this is an interesting topic, which is why I want to respond to this today. So, most of you have some sort of smart device, and I'm no different. I've got smart lamps, smart bulbs, smart lights, got a video doorbell, got security cameras, I've got Google Nest for controlling temperatures. All of those products require an internet connection. And the latest product, the Pixel Art display there, is no different. That's a Wi-Fi enabled device. It requires a connection to the internet. So with all of those smart devices, Internet of Things, Wi-Fi enabled devices, etc., I give them access to the internet, but I greatly restrict what they can and cannot do. I am in control. And one of the first things you need to do is not give them access to your main Wi-Fi network. Don't give them access to your main Wi-Fi network. What you want to do is give them access to a guest network. Now, unfortunately, with this type of thing, if you've got a basic router that was given to you by your internet service provider, you might not have a great router. You might have some basic firewall options or some basic security options, but they are quite limited with what you can do. And if you find yourself in that scenario, change it. Buy a good router, even buy an older one that's got more options. But generally speaking, you do have good security options. Now, I've got some ASUS routers at home, and one of the good things about their routers is that they simplify the process of creating guest networks. They've got Guest Network Pro, and they've got predefined templates almost for setting these guest networks up. So there's one that you can create that's for friends and family. There's another one for Internet of Things. And with each of these guest networks, the idea is that you've got configuration options for restricting what they can do. The most important one is blocking access to your internet. Don't allow any of these devices on the guest network to access your local network. But you can do other things as well. You can limit bandwidth to like 10 megabytes per second or something. Just give them the internet speed they need and nothing more. You can restrict when they can access the internet, perhaps only at night, perhaps only in the daytime, that type of thing. And the ASUS routers have other things as well. You can set AP isolation, which is access point isolation, which means that you're not allowing devices to speak to each other wirelessly. So there's a lot of things like that in their security configuration options. And the key thing with all of that, well, the key word, I guess, is isolation. Isolation. You want to isolate each of those devices. That device is not speaking to anyone else in your local network. It's going to the internet, straight line. It's not having a detour to your local network. And that's what you want to do. You should always restrict access for these devices simply to the internet, control what they can do. Don't give them access to anything locally. It's really important, guys, and I hope you're all doing something similar in your own home network. Now, to go back to the actual comment, I think a lot of companies are making products merely to try to get access to everyone's passwords. So that is true. Not for big companies, but yes, if you buy some tech from a Chinese marketplace, for example, you buy a cheap internet switch, you buy a cheap gadget, there is a risk that they've put something in there rogue that is going to speak back to one of their servers that's going to give them direct access to your local network. You do have to be aware of that type of thing. Yeah, you do. But you also have to be aware of bigger companies as well. Now, disclaimer, I'm not spending time analyzing all of my smart products. I'm not using Wireshark to investigate every internet packet to see if there's something rogue going on. There is a risk of these companies doing something malicious, especially if you buy cheap tech. But the bigger problem, I think, and probably the most common problem, is that smart devices, they're not updated enough. So to give you an example, I've got some smart bulbs, which might be about 10 years old at this point, and I don't think there's been a software firmware update since I got it. So that's 10 years of never being updated. It probably has a lot of security holes in it. And that means that if anyone was aware of those vulnerabilities, they could perhaps get access to my local network. And this is something which, unfortunately, even bigger companies do. They don't update their firmware enough, or they support a product for a limited amount of time, and then you don't get any more firmware updates. So if there is a security hole, a security bug, then you're giving a backdoor to any malicious parties that could perhaps get access to your local network. So you do have to be aware of this, guys. You don't have to be paranoid about everything. I do generally feel that if you set things up correctly with your home network and you just restrict what devices can and cannot do, especially third-party products which are trying to get access to the internet, if you restrict what they can do, if you don't let them talk to each other, if you don't let them connect to your local network, then you should be okay. But do some more reading about this, guys. Be cautious and just be aware that this is something that, a problem that can arise. You need to be aware of this, especially today, with so many privacy issues, with passwords being stolen, with bank details being stolen, etc. Just be a little bit more savvy about this if you can do a bit of reading. So I hope you've enjoyed the video, guys. If you have, please give it a thumbs up, give it a subscribe. And as always, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Please do post a comment below. I'd love to hear your opinion on all of this as far as password protection, home security, Wi-Fi security, etc. Please do leave a comment below, and I'll speak to you all in the next one. Take care.